Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and today we are doing something that might be breaking the rules here on Rolling Solo. We are showing a game on the channel which is not solo playable officially. That's right, but I'm pretty confident with the Star Wars IP that somebody, somewhere, is going to make some type of unofficial variant to be able to play this thing solo. And as a huge fan of the IP of Star Wars myself, I just had to show you guys what's inside of this box. So I'm breaking the rules for this one time to give you guys an idea as to what you can find inside the box. We're going to go through all of the components one at a time. So without further ado, let's take a look at Star Wars the deck building game from Fantasy Flight Games. The fate of the galaxy is in your hands. Experience epic strategic battles in Star Wars the deck building game. This easy-to-learn game reimagines the conflict between the Galactic Empire and the Rebel Alliance in thrilling head-to-head gameplay. Recruit characters, collect bounties, use the Force, and destroy the enemy base. It mentions in the top right-hand corner, there are over 50 unique cards inside the box. You're going to be taking command of your favorite characters, vehicles, and starships, of course. And you have iconic bases to choose from, as you'll be selecting one of 10 different locations. Each one has a powerful ability. When you first open up the box, you're going to be greeted by the rulebook. Let's go ahead and take an up-close look inside. When you first open up the rulebook, you're going to find the game overview as well as some flavor text. The game overview states it's a competitive game for 2 players that brings the galaxy-spanning war between the Galactic Empire and the Rebel Alliance to your tabletop. You and your opponent each are choosing a side, playing as either the Empire or the Rebels. As the game progresses, you must strengthen the power of your starting deck by purchasing cards that provide more firepower and increased resources so you can successfully attack and defeat your opponent's base. The first player to destroy 3 of their opponent's bases wins the game. And on the right-hand side here, you'll see a summary of the components in the box. Not only are you seeing the components listed on that page, you're also seeing some of them used to hold down this rulebook as we go through it even further. We have on this page the setup instructions, which goes through a number of steps, 9 in total, in order to get the game to the table. Here's an illustration of how the game will look on the table once it's set up. You're going to have your supplies, whether it be damage or resource, which are these tokens I'm using to hold down the rulebook up here. You got Galaxy Discard, Galaxy Deck. You have Rebel Base, Rebel Player Deck, Rebel Player Discard, Rebel Victory Pile. Same things across the Empire on the opposite side. Through the center, the Galaxy Row, and on the far right-hand side, the Outer Rim Pilot Deck, and on the far right-hand side, you have the Balance of the Force track. The next page gets into core concepts for the game. You can see Deck Building 101, the Balance of the Force on the right-hand side. Of course, this being a deck building game, you have to enjoy that in order to want to dig in further here, unless you're coming at this just from the IP angle. For me personally, I enjoy Star Wars and deck building, so this is a good match for me. As we continue through the rulebook, you'll see everything's laid out in a very nice way. Everything is labeled to easily understand how this game flows and operates. It's showing here the breakdown of all the icons, different symbols on all the cards. Skipping ahead in the rulebook a few pages, we are now in the section for taking our turn. This comprises of things like playing a card, purchasing a card, using a card ability, committing to an attack, resolving an attack, ending your turn. All these things are detailed out in different sections of the book. You'll see a general idea of how they're doing it with illustrations and how they're formatting everything. There's lots of white space, so it's not crammed up. Again, this rulebook is also on the small side, so very easy to consume overall. Skipping ahead in the rulebook a little bit more, we find where the end of turn section is and winning the game. Earlier in the rulebook, you saw an illustration about what the game looks like set up on the table. Here is an illustration of what a sample game in progress might look like. Now, this is a section of the rulebook that I'm sure is of interest to individuals. We have advanced game modes, so we have full galaxy, secret bases, 2v2 multiplayer, and some optional rules over here in terms of adjusting the game length, paying off neutral cards. And as we get to the end of the rulebook on page 30, you'll find an FAQ. Now we'll head back inside the box to show you what the insert looks like. We'll begin taking some things out of it. So first of all, we got a couple packs of cards in this section of the box. We also have the bag of tokens you saw earlier, which I was using to keep the rulebook in place. And we've also got a section here, which is divided off separately for these cards, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. And then we have 2 more decks of cards on top here, and then spaces underneath. So there is storage inside this insert beyond what's included in it. Here are the components all laid out on the table. You'll see we have a number of cubes here in yellow and purple. We also have 1 in white. We're gonna go ahead and move those out of the equation. Now we're gonna focus on taking a look at every single card in the box up close. And that's going to wrap up this game unboxing for Star Wars the deck building game from Fantasy Flight Games. The one game that this reminds me of, and again, it has nothing to do with gameplay because I haven't actually got it to the table just yet, but the artwork has already got me excited for this one. I'm hoping the gameplay is just as good as the artwork looks. But the one it does remind me of is from the 90s. There was a Star Wars CCG that I really missed being able to continue playing, as I don't even have any of the cards for it anymore. But that was a much longer-winded game, plus it was a collectible card game, so you had to spend crazy amounts of money trying to find all the individual cards you really wanted for the best characters and locations and everything else. Whereas with this, you're going to get everything you need inside the box. You're going to get the best characters, best locations, best items, and you're really just deck building your way up to success to get a victory inside this game. And that kind of an approach, I think, is a much better one. So I'm very intrigued on how this could potentially expand beyond the core box once this gets rolling. I feel like there's a lot that they can draw from to really add into this experience. So I'm excited for that. Again, this is not a solo game, so I need to highlight that a second time for those of you. Most of you come to this channel for solo games. This is a very big rarity that I cover anything that is not officially solo playable. I'm just doing this for those that are interested in Star Wars or might want to play this with family or friends. So just keep that in mind. But like I said, wouldn't be surprised to see someone unofficially tackle this and create some type of solo variant. Would love to see it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, keep on rolling solo.